Hi, I'm Lucy. I have Ramona who's 9, Juno who is 7, and my partner Tim who is 40. And we have lived without school since forever. Now these last few weeks have been such an emotional roller coaster, haven't they? I have been not knowing what to think, what to feel, just trying to kind of like keep on top of my feelings really. And then over this last weekend, I felt myself kind of unfurling a little bit and looking around and asking myself, how can I be useful right now in this moment of time? And I basically felt like one of my areas of expertise is probably living life without school. My children have never ever been to school. We spend every day in our family unit basically. So I kind of feel like I might be able to hold your hand a little bit as we have so many more millions of people now doing a kind of homeschooling that they haven't even chosen. I can imagine this feeling so difficult and even terrifying. And I just wondered, maybe I can share a few tips, a few ideas, a little bit of solidarity, a little bit like, yeah, that's normal, over the coming weeks and months. So hence I've started this YouTube channel, Life Without School, and I'll be putting out videos once or twice a week. I'm also super happy to answer questions, so if you've got any questions about anything or if you have any challenges, I'll do my very best to find some kind of answer, either from my own experience or from somewhere in the world. So please do ask questions in the comments. I also want you to know that I do not come from this place of up here like, oh yes, we've been living life without school for 9 years. I don't feel like that at all, because right now we are doing a type of homeschooling that I would never ever choose because we are in self-isolation right now, so we can't see our friends, we can't head out and about and do all of the millions of activities that we usually do every single week. And so I really extend solidarity to you out there, because this is actually super terrifying for me as well. I have a child who is so social. Her happy place is basically having 100 of her friends in our field and never coming home. So the thought of being somewhere between 2 and 18 months without these big groups for my daughter is actually quite intimidating. So I just want to let you know that I am coming from a place where we're all in this together, us parents who have to do this now, because this is strange territory for me and other homeschoolers as well. We're not kind of like going, we've got this, we've got this. This is a strange beast for all of us. So yeah, coming from experience, but also solidarity. You know what? I also absolutely believe that this time, that there are some families and some children who are gonna really thrive in this time at home. They are gonna love the lack of pressure. They're gonna love being around you. They're gonna love being able to be absolutely themselves without squeezing into anything else. I really do believe in your ability to provide an environment for your children in which they absolutely thrive and in which you can get your needs met. Right now, that might seem like a distant goal, but you have got this and you are absolutely gonna rise to this challenge. So in the coming videos, I'm gonna be looking at how family circles can run and how they can really transform your life at home with the kids. Gonna be talking about creating bespoke self-regulation toolboxes for you and your kids so that you've got something to turn to when things are very stressful. And I'm also going to be offering some ideas for how you as a parent can get your needs met when you are in this situation. But in today's video, I'm going to be sharing 6 tippity-top tips for you that you can kind of activate right now just to lift the pressure on what's going on for you. Now, number 1, it's kind of a weird one. They get better. So number 1 is to relax before you roll your eyes. I know how this is not really a time where it's very easy to naturally relax. And I recognize that actually a lot of you that have just begun living life without school are also trying to hold down jobs, and it's actually incredibly stressful. You've also been given homework from schools that maybe you feel you have to sort of make happen. I really do want to invite you into what this means to relax in your home. I don't think this means necessarily just turning off your stress button or whatever. I think the invitation runs in two ways, and that is, see this time mainly as a chance to connect with your child, and two, you can trust your child to be learning constantly. We have a curriculum or a paradigm called life learning, and we believe that our children learn all of the time, and I don't ever have to sit down with them and get them to do a workbook or get them to do homework ever, or schoolwork. I can just see every single day that they're making leaps and bounds in quite traditional schooling topics, but by doing it just through our everyday life activities. I do really believe that if you give yourself space, you will begin to see that happen as well in your home. So while this isn't a very relaxing time, try and figure out what it means to lift the pressure off in your situation. And I think if you can heed that call to just simply connect and simply trust, you might feel more able to let go of all of the stuff that you should be doing. I heard from quite a few teachers this week who told me that as far as the set homework goes, if your kids don't want to do it, do not force them to do it. These teachers are saying it will be the worst thing ever if parents get locked into a really tricky dynamic with their kids, forcing them to do work. Now, some of the kids out there will be loving the schoolwork because it's providing a sort of sense of normality. So just feel into what your kid is doing and make space for them if they want to do schoolwork. If they don't want to do it, pretty much let them do kind of what they want. Now, your kids are going to go through something we call deschooling, which is where they kind of look like they don't really know what to do, and they might kind of hyper-focus on things that you think, how is that learning? Or they might actually seem really lethargic and like they've got no self-motivation whatsoever. These are all things that can happen with deschooling. Deschooling in the adult, in the parent, often looks like, what is my kid learning? And all sorts of things from your own childhood come up. We're going to be covering this in an upcoming video, so don't worry, but just basically expect that things aren't going to just immediately be smooth and under control. There are going to be bumps and hiccups. Sorry. Extra solidarity for people out there with neurodiversity in their families. We also have that. There are going to be families watching this and hearing, bumpy road, hiccups? What? No, we've started homeschooling last week and it's totally beautiful. We just paint with watercolors all day. Well, I have a kid that does that, and I have a kid that where you'd put watercolors in front of her, she would just paint every inch of her magnificent body, and it would be over in 3 minutes and you just have loads of mess and the whole day in front of you. So I totally understand that, and this is going to be a lot trickier if you have got neurodiverse or naturally wild, beautiful children in your family, and we want to cover that too, right? In fact, if you have got neurodiversity in your family, I would love to hear from you in the comments with anything you want to share with other people about how you kind of accommodate and make life without school really wonderful for everybody in your family. Okay, number 2, establish early on whether you are a family who loves rhythm or doesn't love rhythm. When I put it out to my homeschooling community, I was like, what is your number 1 top tip that you want to tell people right now about life without school? Quite a lot of people said establish some kind of rhythm or structure because that will get you through. We are not a family that really have rhythm or structure. We just wake up and we just bowl into whatever activity is floating our boat on that day. However, in this time, we are going to trial a rhythm. Wish me luck. The the only piece of rhythm this is going to be beginning with an adventure every single day. So at 9:30, one of us parents is going to take the kids outside and do some kind of big nature adventure, with the idea that this will then set the rest of the day on the right path. But you might be a family who's going to need some really lovely rhythms to get you through this time, and I highly recommend sitting down with your kids to discover what kind of rhythm they would like their day to, what kind of shape they would like their day to take over the coming little while. They'll have all sorts of ideas for this. This will also help your kids have things to look forward to, which is my number 3 toppity tip. My friend Rebecca, who is also living life without school with her boys next door, said this to me yesterday, that they've established a bunch of things they're going to be doing over the coming months so that their kids have got things that they are super excited about. One way that we love to do this is to all sit down and write on little pieces of paper and then tear them up and roll them up and put them in a hat. And then it's all things that we love to do, say watching this or doing this or baking that. And then each morning we wake up and we unroll 3 things and we do them that day. Now, your kids will probably write poo in a sock or something. That is going to get in there, and you can kind of use your own sense whether you're going to do that thing. But this is one way of having things that your kids can really look forward to. Which brings me on to number 4, and that is, if you're not really a rhythm kind of a family, you might instead choose rituals. We have rituals that we move into our everyday life, and it does both of those things. It gives our kids something to look forward to, and it makes sure that we do the things that we really, really value. So some of these things are rituals around gratitude. So we always say some kind of gratitude ritual around food, and we also end every day around being thankful for things from that day. Now, some people think that you have to be joyful before you're grateful, but neuroscience tells us it's absolutely the other way around. So we have to feel grateful in order to activate our joy. So in these turbulent times, I just super recommend bringing some kind of gratitude ritual into your life. We're also going to be having nature rituals. I mentioned that already, but making sure that every day somehow we spend some time outside. Number 3 is a family circle ritual. I've mentioned those already, and I'm going to talk about those a little bit more in the next point. It's about sitting down, making space for our emotions and making space for our ideas. And so every day we're going to weave in a family circle ritual into our day. We're also going to make sure that our kids have time with their friends online, so using FaceTime or Zoom, so that they do have... So although it will look quite different to normal, they still get time to connect in with their friends. We're also going to make sure that we have heaps of time to play together as our family. No matter how old your kids are, whether they're like 3 and they love tickling, or they're 15 and they love gaming, the language of childhood really is play. And it's so fun to get in touch with your inner child and allow yourself to play. And this could be an amazing gift that you receive over these next few months, is beginning to speak the language of your kids and unleashing your inner child. So just quickly on the family circle, I want to do a whole video on this because it's so powerful. It's basically an egalitarian setting where you sit down and you all speak from your heart, and you don't give each other feedback or solutions or fixes or anything. It's a chance for you and your children to perhaps hold some kind of talking piece and just speak whatever it is they're feeling. This is going to be an intense time for some kids. They're going to be holding on to a lot of anxiety, and your family might find it really helpful to prioritize family circle time, even if it's just 10 minutes every single day, for each person to just speak from their heart and for everybody else to simply hold this space for them. I'm also an absolute massive fan of the mantra. If you're a hippie, you probably are too, but you might not be a hippie and this might not come naturally to you. But neuroscience tells us that the mantra can be very, very good for our mental health. So each day I tend to come up with a mantra for that day, and then whenever I'm doing something like boiling the kettle or opening the fridge, I'm opening the fridge a lot at the moment, I will see it as an opportunity to say my mantra and remind myself of my purpose for life. So sometimes they're a little bit silly and frivolous and meaningful, like I am a big big vessel of vibrant love, something like that. Other times it's super simple, like I am enough. Sometimes they're related to my real job as a parent, and that might be helpful for you in this time. It might be like, my main job is simply to connect with my children. My main job is simply to connect with my children. But I'd love to invite you to have a think about some mantras that are going to serve you while you're spending all of this time in the same little place with your children. And let me know your mantras in the comments. I'd love to hear them, and they might be some nice inspiration for the other parents watching this video. Number 7. Oh, I said there were 6. Aren't we lucky? There are 7. This one's like super practical, a few little things that might just be really helpful right now. So number 1, podcasts. There are so many kid-friendly podcasts out there, and my friend Talia has written a huge list of all of the brilliant podcasts. I'll link to that below. Also, audiobooks. I don't know if you know this, but honestly, the homeschooling parents' like secret weapon is audiobooks. We usually get these for free from our little library app. You can like download audiobooks, but I'm actually even thinking about signing up for a more extensive program over the next few months, because otherwise I think I'll die. Just on podcasts as well, my friend mentioned the Mindfully podcast, and they're creating beautiful child-focused podcasts right now to help your child be calm and deal with their anxiety for this particular moment in time. Also, did you know that Zoom are doing a 6-month trial in order to support people connecting? So you might want to sign yourself up so that you can have like parties with your kids can get all of their friends together, and they can have like an online party, and they could even do some of their work together or have some kind of play. I'm so excited to see what our kids do with digital media over these coming months. I feel like it's going to be an amazing opportunity for them. And finally, just super practically, have bunches of snacks, like fruit on the table, crackers in the cupboard, and let your kid know that they can just help themselves to it. It's a really good way of just encouraging body autonomy, but also means that you're not having to deal with any low blood sugars, and you're not constantly making them food, which is going to get very tiring very quickly. So those are like my 7 kind of quick tips for you to just immediately find some kind of joy in this time. I'd love to hear from you which video you would want next, whether that's going to be family circles or deschooling or self-regulation toolboxes, or how to get your needs met as a parent. Let me know in the comments which one you would like to see next. I'll see you super soon. In the meantime, remember that you've absolutely got this. You are good enough. Your kids and you are just gonna connect, and it's gonna be awesome. Mwah. Much love to you, and stay radical.